Looks like we are just about good to go here. I'll mess around with my windows a little bit, make sure everything is lining up nicely, and then we'll be good to go. Shouldn't be too much longer, folks, for those who are watching this after the fact and see all this nasty setup ahead of time. I should probably have done a bit of this ahead, but anyway, I'm still fairly rookie at this, so please forgive me. Okay. There we go. I think we are actually ready to roll. Excuse me, sorry. I mentioned it in the comment for this live stream, but just in case you didn't read that, I will mention it again here. Basically, you know, just from playing on my own, I've had so much instability with the game, like it crashes again and again and again and again and again. And you really can't even do anything, like it just gets silly. So what I've done is I took a look around to see if there was anything we could do in terms of, you know, changing some mods around or some settings or what have you, and there's really not a whole heck of a lot you can do. It seems the base instability is mostly due to mods. So what I did is I gutted all the mods out and then just put back in a few that I consider absolutely essential, like I will not play without them. So the game still does crash once in a while, but I was able to play on my own off on the side for about 4 or 5 straight hours yesterday without a single crash. So I'm going to say the few mods I have are okay. Namely, I have KerbalEngineering, which gives you a lot more information about your vessel while you're building it. MechJeb, which is, I mean, you have to research some technology first, but it's going to let me do maneuvers in space and that sort of thing much easier rather than doing them manually, because I suck at that. And KerboKatz, which is actually the automated science. And since I am otherwise using stock, like none of the other science mods are in here, it should be able to recognize all of the science I do, and therefore I don't think I needed the other one I was using for science, the one that lets you just click on a part based on a button on the side screen. So that's gone, and I don't think I'm going to miss it. So anyway, picking up right where we left off last time, so we had just finished clearing a bunch of contracts. We have a lot of science, good pile of money. In fact, we completely cleared our whole list, so that's nice. So we have a few things to choose from here. Any launch site tests, always do those. Those are so easy. Never ever skip those. Oops. Splashdown tests are usually not too bad, as long as I remember to do them. I'll take it. I may regret it, but there's another launch site one. Always take those. Those are free. Landed at Kerbal. Yeah, we can definitely take all of these, because landed at, like I mentioned last time, is basically the same as at launch site. In flight, maybe not. Yeah, that's probably okay. And these probably just want a suborbital flight. Sure, we can take them. Now, notice how much reputation we get from that. That tells me I have not yet unlocked the strategy here to either turn that into money or science. I think I'm just going to turn it straight into science this time. How high can I go here? Probably about 45%? Could get to 44. Oh, that's harsh. I like round numbers. Alright, we'll do 40 then. That's fine. So that's going to kill off my current reputation, but that's fine. And then from now on, we'll get science every time. Awesome. Alright. Now that we have stuff to do, let's go do. Do. Okay. Okay, so it's not going to load up. That's fine. We'll just start a new one. Not a problem. Yep, easy flyer. And while I'm at it, let me delete that so it doesn't get in the way next time. I might as well delete that too. Okay, cool. So, the very first thing we're going to do is we're just going to quickly do the these little test at launch or test landed ones. So that wants me to test a thumper. We can do that. I have no intention of actually leaving the ground to do that test, but we can do that test. A thud while splashdown, we'll come back to that. A flea at launch site. So again, we can absolutely do that, but I have no intention of leaving the ground. And stack decouplers, well that's convenient, I kind of want these stack decoupled anyway. TT36 radial, that's even easier. Whoa, hello, thank you. And a TR18, what's this guy? Okay, beautiful. So, we will test this first. And then the flea. And then its decoupler, which is that. And this. And lastly, we would theoretically let go of the launch pad, but we're not actually going to, because we're not actually leaving the ground. This is what we call abusing science, and I like it. For anyone wondering why I don't have my webcam on, I am trying to keep an eye on the frames per second. So far they seem to be going okay. So I'm going to try putting it on. I just don't know if we're going to be keeping it on. Well, apparently that's the same button as temperature gauges. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And apparently I have this in the wrong spot. Well, that's no fun. Alright, I'll sort that out after. Never mind. We will live without the webcam for now. Alright. So first, we test this decoupler. Awesome. Then we test the flea with no actual fuel, but it still counts as a test. Then we test its decoupler. Bye, little flea. Then we test the thumper. Again with no fuel, but that's fine. And that is 4 contracts done. Blink, 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 and blink. Like I said, no intention of actually leaving the ground. So that's 4 easy contracts down. And really didn't cost anything other than, I guess, the decouplers. We don't get those back, but otherwise, that really didn't cost anything. So that was easy. Does it have anything else it'd like me to test at the landed? In fact, it does. While we're at it, we'll pick up some more tourists. Tourist contracts are great because basically, if you're already doing something, say, you know, rescuing a Kerbal from space or something, like anything that you're already intending to go do, you take some tourists with you, you make a lot more money. Or reputation. I guess it's normally reputation. Actually, I guess it's a bit of both. A lot of money and then reputation, so no reason that they shouldn't pay for your trip. Right? Okay, landed. Done. Launch site. Done. Launch site. Done. I see we're not leaving the ground again. Okay, I'm totally fine with that too. We should probably go spend some of the science at some point, but for now, let's just keep earning it. And then we can decide what to do with it. Seems legit to me. Okay. So what all do we need to test this time? Well, we don't need to test a thumper, or any of its friends. A Juno engine. That's you. That's fine. You have no fuel, so not a problem. Landing gear is under utility, I think. Yes, it is. Here, have a landing gear. This is a crazy craft. You would never actually want to fly this. But like I say, I'm not actually leaving the ground, so it doesn't matter. The splashdown one we'll do after. Oh, wants the fleet done again. Okay, well, we can do that too. Actually, I guess we have to do it the other way. You can go there. Oops. You can go there. We'll give you a little decoupler. No, a little decoupler. Actually, if we give you a radial one, I don't even have to fire that radial. All we need is something for this engine to sit on, so it exists. There, okay. And then these, so we don't fall out of the sky. And that will be good. Right, so you have no fuel, so you're completely safe. And you no longer have any fuel, so you're completely safe. Awesome. Ooh, frame rate's dropped to 0. That's not cool. Anyway. Right, so there's the Juno test. There's the fleet test. And where's the wheel? There's the wheel test. Done, done, and done. Too easy sometimes, I think. Too easy. Well, that's fine. I certainly don't mind easy. Again, didn't cost us a thing. In fact, we didn't even lose anything on that one because I didn't even use the decoupler. I just used it to hold the thing, so we get all of our money back. Okay, so I guess it's figured out what I'm doing and is no longer letting me do that quite so easily. The game is clever enough to realize that you're abusing something. Well, this one we will take because this one has no duration. It's one of the, basically story goals kind of thing, right? So there's no reason not to take this. We will eventually make an orbit. Won't be soon, but we will do it. I don't like doing these surveys, especially surface ones, because that means I have to be able to build a plane and land it. So I skip all those. I don't really like these ones either, because you have to have very specific windows. Like, it's got a fairly wide altitude window, but not a terribly wide speed window, and at that speed, that window of altitude is not going to last long, so I'm actually going to skip this mission. Same with this one, although in this case the speed's the wide window and the altitude is the small window, but again, I don't really like these ones where there's two things to worry about meeting at once, so I'm just going to skip them. Now let's go spend some science, shall we? You'll notice the tech tree is a little bit smaller than it used to be, because there used to be more stuff down here and up here. But it's still very, very large, so I'm fine with that. I think we're going to start right here. Some basic science-y stuff, which will give us a new communicatron, a thermometer, as well as an actual battery, which would be nice. Excellent. Still have a good pile of science. What else can we get? This would give me lights. Lights are good. I like those. Those are convenient. The first way to start generating power, a little solar panel. No. Well, this would give me... This will actually be useful for those touristy missions, because this part here holds 4 crew. So you can put one of your Kerbals and 3 tourists in it. When you're doing a tourist mission, you have to have one of your Kerbals in the same compartment with them, or for some reason they don't count. I guess they require a tour guide or something. It also gives us the barometer, which is another science one, so I'm actually going to take that. That's very helpful. This gives us... Oh, this unlocks the rest of the mech jeb that I need, the maneuver specifically. Done. And that's our science balloon. Okay. That's fine. I am fine with that. Alright. Now let's get rid of all this crazy stuff. And before I forget, let's get rid of monopropellant. I don't have RCS yet, and I generally don't use it, so there's no need to spend 40 kilograms and some money on monopropellant that I'm never going to use. Okay, so how many tourists do I have right now? 4, right? Yep, so I'm going to need the capacity for at least one of these, and probably, I might actually need 2 of them, I guess. Yeah, because I have to be able to put a Kerbal in. I guess I could just take one of these, though. There. Okay. So in here I can put one of my guys and a tourist, and in here I can put another one of my guys and the rest of the tourists. And that'll be fine. Okay, that'll work. And... whoop. Awesome. Yes, I always put the lights on if I can remember to. It's just a thing I do. Anyway, so what we're trying to do is a splashdown test, and failing that, just a simple suborbital flight. So we have to break atmosphere, but we do not need necessarily to make orbit. If we happen to, great, but I don't think that's happening on this flight. So if we happen to land in the water, well, speaking of land, let's first make sure we're going to be able to land by actually having parachutes. That would be good. That would be very, very good. Let's have lots of parachutes, in fact. You can never go wrong having a lot of parachutes. All that happens is that when you float down, you hit the ground more gently. I can't see that as a problem. Okay, that probably is enough. Alright, now, it is a thud that you're looking for, which is this guy here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Definitely don't want 8 of them, I just want 1 of them. Let's just stick that on the side there. Give it no thrust, because I'm not actually going to be using it. It's purely just for this test, which means it gets its own personal group right at the very, very end. Awesome. Other than that, we just need stuff to actually make it up and over. So, what we will do is we'll have a decouple to get us away from. And let's see how far could we get on a single thumper. Not very far. But you see why I really like having the KerbalEngineer. Just being able to look at this is so much more helpful than just doing a test flight and trying to guess. Like, this tells me right away there's no way that's breaking atmosphere. Like, that is just nowhere near enough thrust. So, that's why I consider that one essential. So, let us add some more power. By having multiple. Probably doesn't help as well that it thinks it wants to do these parachutes. I don't know why it never figures this out. It's really kind of strange. But anyway. There. Okay. Now, 1808, that should be able to break atmosphere. It definitely will not be orbital, but that should be able to break atmosphere. I'm going to add a bit of structure just to make sure this thing doesn't wobble itself into oblivion. And probably would not hurt as well if we slapped on at least a little bit of aerodynamic fins. Okay. All things being equal, this should be able to go up into suborbital flight, I think. And then it's just a case of whether we happen to land in water to do the splashdown test or not. And that's fine. Alright, let's give her a go. Okay. Everybody ready to flee the premises in 3, 2, 1, good night, Sally. It does not control control very well even with those fins, but that's fine. Just looking to stay something approaching straight, but not exactly straight up, otherwise you'll never be able to land. You need at least some horizontal speed to ease your descent back down. So if you fly straight up and then straight down, you will almost certainly crash, because the parachutes won't be able to open, because they have a maximum speed before they're allowed to open. And I'm pretty sure you will hit it, so I'm trying to make sure I have at least a little bit of horizontal motion. That also will help me get over water if I happen to make it. Well, this is going to be close, but I don't think we're quite going to make it. Nope, we're not going to make it. Okay. Well, let's at least get the water splashdown test done, so we at least got something out of this trip. That at least we can do. Also does kind of suck flying at night, 'cause you can't really see what's going on. Another reason I can even see the ship at all is I put the lights on that. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know where I was at all. Alright, we're just about done with the ascent portion, which was not sufficient, but we're just about done. So soon, we shall start coming right back down. And I just have to hope I got enough enough horizontal speed to keep everything kosher. I think so, because I also didn't get spectacularly high up in the atmosphere either, so it should be okay. If you ever build a rocket that can like easily break atmosphere and maybe even gets to space high, which is the 250 kilometer mark, but you have basically zero horizontal speed, good luck. It will not be a pleasant re-entry, that's all I'm saying. I guess unless you happen to like air brakes or something, but that's much later tech. We are not there yet. We are still a very, very junior little Kerbal program. Alright, it looks like we're going to be within enough speed. We should be able to pop the parachutes whenever. I want to let it get a little bit closer, just in case the speed goes up a little bit too much and gives me some grief, but I think we're going to be okay on this one. Should be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. The drogue chutes are holding. I'll keep the speed reasonable for the mains. There we go. So now we just drift down, and once we get splashdown, we can do the thud test, which I assume wants to be done through staging. Yes, not through the run test button. And I don't know if this is common or if it was just a one-off thing I ran into, but when I was playing on my own, I did have one like this one, where it said, run through the staging, and I ran it through here, and I can't, either through activate engine or run test, but either way I ran it through here instead of through the staging, and it didn't count it. It was so annoying. So that's why I always make very sure I check which one it wants, whether it wants a staging sequence or wants me to click and select run test or what have you. But this one wants to be done in staging. That's the stage there, so it'll be fine. We'll be fine. Once we're done falling out of the sky. Look at this guy, he's so happy. He always looks really happy to be going. A lot of the other Kerbals look terrified when I'm commanding them to fly spaceships, but He always looks happy, so I use him a lot. Okay, so the drogue should be opening up right about now, so we should slow down a fair bit. There we go. And when we get down to about 1,000 meters, the mains will fully open, and then we'll slow down some more. And then we'll actually see if I did in fact put enough parachutes on. Otherwise we may be reverting. And that would be a little bit silly, but whatever. It's fine. Okay, let's see what speed we zip to here. Oh, that's fine. 5 is fine. These things have a crash rating of, I think, 8? Something like that. But either way, below 5 will be totally fine. So yes, I did put enough parachutes on. That's good. It's one thing I'm never sure of. I did find online a parachute calculator, but I keep forgetting to actually go and use it. Because there is actually a formula for figuring out exactly how many parachutes you need, but I don't remember it. And I can never remember to go and check the really nice little website somebody wrote that specifically checks for you. Ah well. I'm not so good at the memory game as you may have figured. Alright, well since we're just waiting to splash down, let's just speed up the clock here. That will be fine. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Almost there. Okay. Splash down. Picked up some free science. Let's run the official test. There we go. And let's see if there's any EVA to be done. Hey, the surface sample. I guess we had not done that yet. Excellent. Well, now we have. Okay, thank you. I have it already. Thanks. What are you doing, sir? I thought I heard... What are you doing? I told you to grab, not fling yourself out of the water like a salmon. Anyway, that was strange. Ah well. Okay, we got some good data there. Let's recover. There we go. We got ourselves back up to 90 science. That's not bad. We got most of our money back. And everybody here is fine because, like I said, we didn't really do anything, so that's fine.
Oh,
Do you have anything here that I'm interested in? Hey, there's a launch site one. So I will abuse that. Otherwise, I don't see anything here that I'm likely to want to do, so let's just say no. Okay. Alright. Now that means, because we passed this mission, we can just get rid of this thing. And add, whatever that one was, a heat shield. Okay. This one probably wants to be done. Yeah, this one wants to be done through run test. Not a problem. That's aerodynamics, I think. Yes. So, here. Have a heat shield. Now, what I can do, since I'm not really using this heat shield, is I can save myself 200 kilograms by not having it have any protective material involved. So it's very, very useless, but it's just here for the test anyways, so that's fine. And we are still trying to go up a little bit higher, so I think I'm going to bump this up and take an extra. Instead of having 3 offside ones, I'll take 4 offside ones. And we'll go with that. Put those back together like they belong. That's not much better than it was before, though. Okay. Well, what I guess I could do is go for the really, really high score here and go a little bit berserk with this. So we'll just do an Alt click to copy, and there. Now we have a crazy number of boosters. That's distinctly higher. That's way higher. In fact, this one kind of worries me a bit. That's getting close to exploding range. I don't know the exact number, but when you're pushing through the atmosphere, at least at a certain speed or power, your G-forces, of course, are going to go berserk, and you actually can explode from them. I don't think this will happen, because this will be... Well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We may be... Okay, they're all still there. We may be reverting this launch. But before we do anything, of course, we need to do that little... Oops. It's going to be kind of hard to... Maybe this wasn't a great place to have put this. It's kind of hard to reach there. Where's our little... There it is. Our little shield. There it is. Okay. Run test. Awesome. Now we can go. Everybody ready? Launching in 3, 2, 1. Hello, sunshine. Well, it's certainly far more powerful, that's for sure. That's about what we got last time. It was about 42,000. And we still have 7 more seconds of thrust. But see here, the G-force meter. Well, we didn't blow up, but it was awfully high. But we are definitely breaking atmosphere. We're not going to orbit, but we are definitely breaking atmo. So that will count as their subordinal spaceflight as soon as we cross that 70-kilometer mark. Awesome. Well, that went a lot better. Go figure, you had twice as many boosters and it goes much higher. Who knew? Yeah, I know. Pretty obvious, but it's alright. There we go. We have officially crossed into a suborbital flight, which is awesome. Okay, so I've already been up here, so there's nothing exciting in terms of crew reports. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll just wait to come back down. I'm a little worried I didn't get quite as much horizontal speed as I would have liked to have, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if it's enough. But I am a little bit concerned about that. us speed up. Because at this point we're basically just floating up then coming back down, so there's nothing else to do up here for this trip. The only thing we had to do, we did, and basically as long as we land safely, those 2 missions will pass as well, so there's nothing nothing that needs immediate doing. Yeah, we're coming down really fast. Really, really fast. Not liking that too much. I think we're going to explode here. Managed it. Not by a lot, but I managed that. That was a lot closer than I would have liked. If I didn't have quite as good reaction time to have gotten that drogue out, I'm pretty sure we'd have crashed. Because we were already inside its full deployment range when I popped them, so that's a lot closer than I would like. Not smiling so much now, are you, sir? You almost just exploded in water. I know people might think landing on water is softer than landing on, like, you know, mountains or even grasslands. And while that may be true if you're coming in at a nice slow speed, it definitely is more permeable than grasslands. But when you're coming in at about 1,400 meters a second, what speed was I at when I was by there? It must have been around, I don't know, maybe 700 or 800 meters a second. Let's call it 700. That's, what would that be? 2,100 kilometers an hour. At that speed, the difference between hitting grass and hitting water is none. There's no difference. You still just explode. So it would have been very, very unpleasant. Alright, well, we're just floating down now. Now we're fine, so we just have to wait it out. We are past the scary part. And splash down. Okay. I know we already have the water stuff because we got that last trip, so I don't need to EVA or anything this time. Okay, so got a bit more science, most of our money back, and we are good. And we'll have a whole pile of happy tourist messages here. There we go. Excellent. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. I don't see a single one that's a land one or a launchpad one. That is truly unfortunate. Nope. Definitely not. Nope. Not likely. Although if I take this mission, I will at least be allowed to use the kickback, so they are much more powerful than the thumpers that we're using now. So. Ah, hello Felipe. You are the first person to join. Welcome aboard. And actually, this one's not too bad because it's just a have instead of a like a run test one. So basically, you don't have to do anything except happen to cross this at some point. So actually, I could take this one. That one wouldn't be so bad. Other than that, though, these are all just... Oh, no, here's one that's just another hull one. See, hull ones... Oh, this one's actually really easy. Basically, the second you take off, this one's done. You don't have to do anything for this one except have it. Sure, I'll take that. Other than that, I don't really like any of the rest of these, so... Well, like I say, the hull ones... See, I thought this one was a run test one, but it's just, again, it's just a hull. Hull ones are fine. Okay. The rest, though, are actually test ones, so I'm going to say no to them. Okay. Do we have enough science to do anything important? Well, that gives me more, like, landing gear and such I don't really care about. Don't really need any of this stuff, because I'm not doing planes yet. Well, this would give me the decoupler I prefer. This is the one I like to use, because it sticks out a bit, so it makes it easier to see. So that one's an option. Oh, actual fuel lines, that would be helpful. Because right now I cannot move fuel from one pod to another at all. So that one's definitely tempting. This one is not tempting. These are all terrible little engines. Very weak. And here is the actual kickback, which is, like I say, absolutely awesome. As well as the skipper, which is also a pretty good one. So I really am torn between that and that for fuel, but I think there's not really any need to take fuel until I have something to actually like put into it. So I'm going to take this one first. Sweet. Alright. Alright, let's go build something. Alright. So let's make sure we've got all the bits that it wants. First and foremost, we can get rid of that heat shield from the previous one because we completed that mission. Alright, so we need to have a LY-10 landing gear on here somewhere. We're not actually going to be using it, so it can pretty much just sit wherever it wants. There, that'll do. It's just a have, it's not a do anything with. I am going to swap out these thumpers for the kickbacks. And I need to just have a spark fuel engine somewhere. Alright, well that, I guess... Where can I even put that? Alright, we'll come back to that in a minute. First, let's get rid of all these thumpers. They're nice, but they're nowhere near as good as the kickbacks. I guess, actually, what I could do is actually have the spark be usable. I suppose that would be of some value. But it's not going to be what actually gets us up and out into the atmosphere. That is the job of kickbacks. Because you can tell right away, like you look at these things, you know, they're showing a thrust 250 to 300. Nearly 600 to 670. Like it's just, they're so much better. I mean, yes, they are heavier and more expensive, but it's totally worth it. Absolutely and totally worth it. Now what I will have to do here... Come on. Otherwise we may have some part issues from these things clipping into there. And let's take the whole thing up a fair bit here. It's going to be a very tall rocket, because these are brutally tall, but that's okay. That's not a problem. But you can see, like right off the bat, that's better than when we had 5 thumpers, and almost as much as when we had 9, and that's just 4 of them. So they are definitely better. Let's put some safeties on them and some aerodynamics just in case. Beautiful. We don't have any tourists for this one, so we don't need to worry about that. Nope, this is purely a try to break orbit flight. And since that is the case, what I'm going to do is take this thing here and put it up here and just get rid of this hitchhiker. It will save 2.5 tons. Because we don't need it for this flight. There's no tourists. It's just us against orbit. Okay, so this all looks good. Alright, let's see what we can do. Okay, slight technical difficulties. My cat just climbed onto my shoulder, and he has put his butt in my face so I can't see what's going on. There we go. Okay. Thank you for that, Devil. That was so nice of you. Alright. Let us see about taking down atmosphere. Ready to launch in 3, 2, 1. Good night, Susan. The second we launched, we passed the landing gear one. It only wanted flying. It couldn't care less what height or anything, so basically fly at all and you're good. Just trying to see how far I can push this over without tipping it over. If it tips over, I'm going to have to revert the flight because I will not be able to recover it. But it looks like it's holding out pretty much okay here. Horizontal speed we get off this booster, the easier making orbit will be, so I'm trying to make sure I get as much as I can without tipping it over. That's some brutal power. That is some brutal power, yes indeed. Wait till we get out of atmosphere and therefore have a whole lot less air resistance before trying to circularize this orbit, if I even can. I don't know if I have enough power or not, but we're going to try. I generally try and go somewhere near the horizon or just ever so slightly below it, kind of like that. Now let's see how we do. This is a very weak engine, apparently. Oh well, that's okay. It'll either work or it won't. No big deal. I think we're going to come up short, though. This looks like it's a little bit light. But we'll have to wait and see. We shall have to wait and see. And even if it does make orbit, I still have to also make sure I have at least a little teensy bit of delta V left to break orbit and come back in. especially since this is a really, really eccentric orbit. But if I can at least make a orbit and pass that mission, that will be good. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit short. You need somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 to 2300 horizontal speed, and I think we're only going to hit about 2000, maybe 2050. So I think we're going to come up just a little bit short here. But we'll try. We'll certainly try. Guess I could try a sharper turn. That might help a little bit. Apparently I didn't do a crew report from high space yet, which means I probably haven't done an EVA either. That's fine, we'll sort that out. When I either make orbit or run out of fuel, whichever comes first. Such a weak engine. Even after it's burned off more than half its fuel, it still hasn't broken 1 TWR yet. Very, very weak. Actually, we might be able to do this here because the orbit is so high. Maybe this will actually make a roundish enough orbit. It's going to be close. It is certainly going to be close. Well, I think we're going to do it. And I don't know why it does that little camera spin. I always find that really annoying. The game seems to do that on its own whenever your periapt crosses about 35,000. There we go. That's an orbit. With enough to get back. Very nice. I did not think we were going to make that. Okay, well, let us try an EVA. Did I already do an EVA? How could I have done an EVA but not done a crew report? That's kind of weird. But it didn't show any sign it wanted to do a crew report, so... yeah, must have already done it. Weird. Anyway. Well, so be it. Let us go ahead and prepare to return. Oh, get back, get back, get back. Somewhere around there. To undo that periaps. So we are now suborbital again. I generally try to bring the periaps down to the 40 to 50 kilometer range. That way it's not basically just, skimming the top of the atmosphere and hardly slowing down at all. This way it actually will dig in pretty heavy to the atmosphere and give me a better chance to slow down. Alright, in the meantime we can speed up until we get there. Kitty, I love you to bits, but you gotta keep your butt out of my face, okay, sir? Thank you so much. Alright, here we go. We are now in Atmo. So our apoapes should melt on its own, and that's fine. Even the periaps will ease its way down. Well, I do still have some fuel. I could thrust against it, slow it down even more. I suppose we could certainly do. Certainly could do that. Actually, which way are we going? Oh, I'm facing the wrong way. Yeah, no wonder that didn't help much. Need to be up here. This is the other reason I like the mech jeb. It has buttons for retrograde and prograde. I'm very bad at keeping track of what direction I'm going. And it lets me not worry about stuff like that. Of course, this engine is so weak and has so little fuel left, it's not really going to be significant, but oh well. We tried. That's all you can do, right? Let's just get rid of it. It's useless anyway. Coming in with a lot of horizontal speed, which means we should not have any trouble with the actual entry. Unlike the previous one, which was awfully close, this one should be totally fine. Because this is basically a more normal entry, where you have way more horizontal than vertical. At least until near the end. That silly camera flip thing, which I don't like, but anyway. I don't know if you even can shut that off. I certainly have never found an option to. But I do not like it much. Alright, a little flag from the very first time I flew a halfway decent distance. Not sure it's really awesome, but that's what we called it. Switch from red hot to white hot. That's fine. Apparently I haven't done deserts yet. Okay. Fair enough. Well, there. That will be a safe entry. If I didn't have a crew part of deserts, I almost certainly don't have a EVA and or soil sample, so I guess once I land I'll have to jump out and fix that. This is so much nicer an entry than the previous one was. That one was terrifying. I'm still quite surprised we survived that. But this one's smooth as silk. Very smooth entry. And like I say, once we land, we'll hop out, grab the soil sample from the deserts, because I'm pretty sure I don't have that yet. And we'll be good. bit. Just got some floating to do. Speed this up as well. Nothing too crazy here. Just about down. Down. Alright, so let's go ahead and EV. Ah, you jerk. It's on the bottom, isn't it? Let's see if I can kind of cheat a little bit. I don't think I have enough momentum, though. And this little steering wheel here is probably making it worse. Because we are on a bit of a hill, so maybe I can make something happen here. But I'm not sure. Mr. Fraser, how are you, sir? Haven't talked to you in ages. How's things? Okay, stop. Jump out. There you go. Good boy. Let go better. Surface sample, that's what we were after. Beauty. I should shrink the UI a bit. I don't think it goes much small. I'm already on a custom one, which is way smaller than the smallest one of the ones it allows, because I can't see anything on half my screen, so it's not easy being blind. Is it just width, just height, or both? Like, what's not working for you? Oh, you stupid idiot. Ah. Oh, you people are so hard to control on the ground. I might just have to give up and recover them separate. Well, I'm glad you stopped by anyway. I guess I haven't talked to you in ages, so... You should shoot me a message while I can actually start talking again. That would be nice. When you get back from whatever you're doing. Just climb the stupid thing. My God, sir. My Kerbal's a numpty. Forget it, we're recovering them separate. Not willing to fight with it that much. Yeah, the nav ball is enormous because it, and no, I know you didn't mean navy ball, because that's a little creepy. Like I say, I have the resolution at custom. Just a second. Yeah, I have it 1000 by 660, because that's about all I can see. The setup I've got in the apartment here is not really ideal. Basically, I can't see the rightmost 10% of my screen, nor the bottom right corner at all. So I have to have everything up and to the left and shrunk down. It's kind of nasty. But anyway, we make do with what we can do. Let's go ahead and recover that. Get the rest of our science here, the rest of our money, and the engineer up to snuff. Excellent. Okay. And that's a safe return from orbit. Let's check out the contracts here. Oh, actually, we're over on time. I should be putting a cut in here. So I guess that's what I will actually be doing. We can go ahead and take the contracts. We just won't actually be working on them right now. Those are all tests. None of these are just halves. Okay, so I'm going to skip these. There's probably nothing there for me anyway. So I'm going to put a cut in this episode here. Sorry it went a little bit over the hour I generally try and make these. We're at the hour and about 10 or so minutes, but that's fine. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed watching today, and it was really nice to have my friend Fraser jump in. I used to work with Fraser at a place that shall not be named, and yeah, it's all good. So thank you for everyone for watching today, and until next time, stay calm, and I hope you'll come and chill with me again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye now.